Hello, welcome to this year's payroll orientation. My name is Shandella Daring. I'm a program manager here at Step Up, and I'll be overseeing the payroll process this summer. As a supervisor, you'll be responsible for making sure intern hours are recorded, documented, and submitted in our online payroll system, Quickbooks, formerly known as T-Sheets. Now, to avoid confusion or conflict with interns, it's best to review the hours that they work with them before officially submitting them into QuickBooks. This should be done by using the daily attendance sheet, which you can find in the Policy and Procedures Handbook. Those hours that are recorded on those daily timesheet could then be transferred to the online system, and ideally by 4 p.m. on that final Friday of each pay period. Just trying to think through some of the issues that may have come up in the past where maybe time cards weren't submitted on time. So then it'll delay when interns can get paid. And so actually the earlier you submit those time cards, the better, like even as early as the Thursday, before payroll is due would be helpful, because then it gives me an opportunity to go in there and make edits. Whereas once the time cards lock after you submit them, beyond the timeline, it's really tricky to make edits. So feel free to reach out anytime if you have any questions or concerns and you need support with QuickBooks. Now for their work hours, level 1 interns can work up to 8 hours per day, but only a max of 20 hours per week. So a lot of room for creative flexibility with creating their schedules that they need to stick to on a weekly basis. If your work site is also hosting level 2 interns, that's the group of young people that are eligible to work over 20 hours. However, it will vary based on your organization's pre-approved budget plan. So I check in with your own HR or payroll team before scheduling young people beyond 20 hours. So let's just take a look at the payroll schedule for this summer. So the official program dates will run from June 27th through August 26th. If you notice in the first column, the pay period begins on June 19th. So this means that your intern's first paycheck will be for 1 week of work only. I highly suggest sharing this payroll schedule and having conversations about work hours with interns, because they will have questions. They're new to this whole working process, most of them, and they're learning how payroll works. And the second column, you'll see that is each Friday, that final Friday of each pay period. Got it highlighted right here for you. So if you want to just pop that in your calendar or just have it handy so you can just take a mental note of when time cards should be submitted into QuickBooks. And the next column is the pay dates that young people can expect to receive their paychecks, either by direct deposit, a pay card that they already have set up, or paper checks in the mail. Okay, so here's a sample of the daily timesheet that you can find in that handbook that I mentioned earlier, the policies and procedure one. This is a great way to help young people prepare for signing in and signing out and keeping track of their own hours. Definitely recommend this tool, since there's a space for both your initials and their initials as well. So then you can officially really document it. And a special note, hang on to the copies of tracked hours just for auditing purposes up to about 5 years. And more information about that can also be found in the handbook. Couple of the notes about QuickBooks. So all supervisors, or at least the supervisor that's listed on that job description you submitted to us a few weeks ago, that's the person that'll receive the email invitation to QuickBooks. And so if you were a part of Step Up as a supervisor last year, you actually should still have a login. And so although it's called QuickBooks now, T-Sheets, that it's still the same system. The features are still the same. Even the process for entering hours are still the same. So you should be able to use that login. And if you need support with just kind of getting logged back into that system, you can actually follow the forgot link to be walked through that retrieval process. but I'll go back into that later when we do a quick demo of that. And if you're thinking through your work site and there are other adult staff members that you think would be helpful for tracking hours with young people, the more the merrier. So if you have a couple of people in mind that you'd like to be added, please send me an email with their name, their email, and a list of youth, which you don't have now, but you will eventually. Once you have that all kind of like set up, we can get them specifically linked to certain youth within the system so they can enter time cards as well. And a couple of other things I wanted to note is that when you track time, if you have someone that worked 3 hours and 15 minutes, just want to make sure to round to the nearest 0.25 point decimal of an hour. So here's an example. 15 minutes is 0.25. It's kind of tricky like that, and it is a bit finicky. So I just didn't want you all to run into that type of challenge when trying to submit those time cards. Okay, so let's go and take a peek at QuickBooks. All right, let's load it. So again, if you're new, you'll just start by accepting the email invitation that you'll receive maybe a couple of weeks or at least 1 week before internship start. We're hoping to have that sent out to all supervisors. And as a reminder, use that forgot link pathway to figure out what your password is or try to reset your password if you were here last year. And so the first thing you want to do once you get logged in is X out of all of the pop-ups that appear on the home screen. So I got one here. Yours will probably look a little bit different, but you got this here. You just want to close them all out so then there's not any conflicting information. Okay, and from there, you want to go to time entries, which is right here in this column. And this is actually the space you want to be the manual time card. Sometimes it may populate to this. It's kind of tricky, but if it does, you just simply hit this tab right here just to get to the manual time cards and to be able to find your young people. So this is the time entries window. And again, there is a 10-step process that's included in the handbook as well. That'll be the same thing that I'm about to walk through. So just wanted to give you a heads up in case you wanted to, utilize your time a little bit differently. But yeah, so your name should be here and then you'll just switch user out. And in this case, I'll go and find a test profile that I have already prepared. So let's say my young person's name is test 1. And so enter the hours. I just type 5 for each. And the other thing about QuickBooks is that you can only do 1 week at a time. So I'll just pretend this is the second week of the payroll system, because once you log in, the week that you're in will populate first. So I just do that, and then you hit save. And then you want to use this cursor here, this arrow, and go back to the previous week, which I've already done. But you add those 5 hours, and then you hit save as well. Okay, we're all saved. Boom. Okay, so now what I want to do, I want to close that out. And I'm going to go and check approvals. Now, approvals is important because although you enter the hours for their time card, you have to, like, in a whole different tab, actually approve them. So what I want to do is, so here you'll see, you may not have this extensive list, but in the event that you do, you want to uncheck all those boxes and just go straight to your group. And for you specifically, your group will be your name. And in my instance, the name of my group is Test Group 2022. And so 3 team members, and then you just hit run report. And so here you can see that I've already I've added hours to my test 1 youth's profile and then also test 2. So we learned that I have 3, so I missed 1 young person. According to my timesheets, I missed 1 young person, so I can go in here, I can hit this arrow and just kind of look down to see like no overtime details, so that's not super important. But what this will let me see is that 1, I never officially approved them. So if you don't officially approve them, I can't receive it. Step Up can't receive it on our end, so we can't then process their payroll information. So that's like a good like double check, just to go in there and double check, make sure you did everything you needed to do. And in this case, if you actually do have young people that don't earn any hours, we would still want you to approve them, because if not, we'll just assume that you all never enter hours for them. So if they didn't work any hours, of course, that's, it's fine. We hope all young people can earn hours, but there are times where they need to switch their schedules or they may have some time off. Still hit that approve button, so then it can come to us. And so you select all the unapproved and then you hit this approve selected, then it'll come through in the system and then you'll be good to go. And if at that point you need to make any edits, that's when you should start emailing me, because officially it will be locked for you. And then it'll have to be that I'll have to work through that system to try to make edits on your behalf. Oh. Just kidding. Another good double check is to click reports and go right here to payroll report. And you can look at it by pay period. And so the one that I added hours for was this, and it'll always be the one at the top, the most recent hours that you'll be looking for. And again, here you want to go and find your group. And so let me uncheck everything else. And I'll go to my test group here. And in this instance, I didn't mention it before, but you do want to uncheck this because it says hide team members with 0 hours. And this is our double check to make sure that we can see all of our young people, including the ones with 0 hours. So once you do that, then you hit run report. And there we go. So again, it lets you view all interns in your group, total hours worked for that pay period. And so again, you can hit this plus to look at a little bit more details. You can see in as many details as you'd like. You can download it into Excel format, PDF, if that's something that you're interested in. It's just a nice little feature to have. But yeah, so I can see that for test 1 and test 2, 40 hours, they got 40 hours. Test 3, I'm going to leave at 0. At this point, I'll just assume that they earned 0 hours. And again, all of my people are showing up. And if at any point, you had maybe 10 interns and you only see 5, that's another point of where you should be connecting with me so we can make sure we get your group together and we can get young people paid, because they're super eager to work this summer. They want to earn money, of course, and they want to earn more experience so they can be prepared for workforce. So again, that's about it. That is about it at this point. So I check my reports. I'm going to go to my approval. Like, I know that this should be good. I should be ready to go. And yeah, I will close this out. Let's see. And here is a quick screen grab of the 2 pages that you can find in the policies and procedures handbook about the steps I just kind of walked through, in case you want to go through. But it's pretty easy. You just kind of got to get through it once so you can kind of feel what it feels like to walk through some of those features and get those steps down. But after that, it should be pretty much a cakewalk. But if not, because there are a ton of things going on, just feel free to give me a call or shoot me a text or send an email over, and I can try to support you as best as I can. And so just final reminders that it will lock after you submit time after each pay period. So you'll need to connect with me if there are any last minute edits, but again, the earlier the better. So if you can submit time on like a Thursday, it'll be easier for me to help you and get in there and make some of those edits. But once it's officially sent to our payroll staff, then it'll be even a challenge for me. Here's my contact information. I got my cell phone number here, also my work email. And if you have any questions regarding intern hours or any other issues, your job coach should be your first contact point. They have a lot of good resources and they are dedicated to you and the interns at your work site. And I do have the phone number for QuickBooks if you have any techie issues or challenges that might come up that's specific to like maybe the web browser or anything of that nature, then you can contact them directly. Thank you again for agreeing to be a work site for our young people. We're excited to have some in-person work opportunities. So yay. We still have some virtual opportunities, but again, super eager about this. Thank you so much. Looking forward to working with you all this summer. Have a good one.